This is the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Join me in the sunshine.
Hi, everyone. This is the Sunny Side Up podcast. End of the year. Already end of the year. Start of the new year.
Yep.
And we have Destiny on with us today. If you've watched Sunny Side Up before, you know who Destiny is. If not, we'll go down the line. I'm Brandon.
I'm Angel.
I'm Destiny.
Oh, I'm Alan. I forgot my name.
Cringe Master 5000.
Sorry.
Yeah. And hey, if you're watching video proportion of this, mugs.
Cheers.
Got our new mugs.
Mugs.
What's
yes.
up?
The mugs that are only really, really good for Destiny because they're left-handed.
These are left-handed mugs available for a limited time only for $10,000 a cup.
Yes.
Contact me. I'll get you one.
Are we selling these yet, though?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet.
These are the starter mugs.
Okay.
These are for us.
Beta testing mugs.
They'll be on beta, but yeah.
Yeah. I like them. But eventually we will have these same mugs for you to
Yeah.
purchase at some point.
No,
Promise
actually, we will be selling them. I just don't know how much.
you. Yeah. Okay, well, they're going to be available for
Yeah.
purchase later
Eventually.
on. We'll let you know. So, man, what a year it has been, both
Yes, it
on
has.
podcast and just in real life, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, life in general. So, it's been fun, though. Been fun. 2019 has
Been a
come
lot.
to an end.
2019 has been bizarre.
2019's been a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So things that I'm thinking about, you guys think about this, the weirdest thing in social media, maybe the weirdest post, I know what mine is. I thought about this a long time. This is one of the weirdest apps ever. Stuff that 2019 happened as you're thinking about it.
I don't even know.
You got something.
I have no clue.
Nothing?
Like what happened this year?
Oh, no, like weird things on social media that happened. Or things that your Destiny posts. She posts some of the goofiest, funniest comedic things. Your posts are almost always hilarious. And I would like them more often, but I don't want to seem like that creeper dude. Going, why is Alan always liking Destiny's posts? But
It's all good, I think.
yeah, okay.
So, I don't know. I don't really have one.
Oh, I
don't
got
know.
it. I'll start it.
There's been too much that has
The-
happened. I
the-
can't process anything
On
at
the
all.
oh my gosh, the name of
You
the
can't
app.
either.
The name of the app. That's the yellow little icon thing that everybody.
Snapchat.
I don't know why I can remember that. The aging
Yeah.
app.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big
That
deal.
was weird.
Yeah, that was a thing for a little bit. You know?
It's still out there, but
Yeah.
it's not good to me. It's not kind to me at all.
Is it kind to anybody? The whole point is it ages you.
Well, you looked pretty good.
No.
Brandon was you were totally gray, but you looked distinguished. I thought.
I don't
Didn't
know.
you?
It's
you
the
guys-
beard.
Yeah, the beard. It was all this like this silver fox look. You were looking. Me, I look like a frail old. I look like I was 137 years old. It gave me liver spots. It was terrible. So I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Destiny would have
That's
make
your
you look.
weirdest.
Did you use on you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How old did you look when you used it?
I don't remember you.
Maybe about like 80.
80. Okay, so yeah, I'm like twice your age, and then some. Yeah, it just the multiplying factor. I didn't like it. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a weird one. I don't know. I can't really think of anything
Well,
for 2019.
Do you want to know one of the greatest inventions? I don't know if it came out in 2019 or
Mhm.
earlier.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Oh, that was earlier.
What year did it come out?
It's probably 2018.
it's worth talking about though, because it really
It blew up in
Kind of
exploded.
blew up
2019.
this
Yeah.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you like about TikTok?
Everything. I downloaded it as a joke because
Mhm.
Destiny was really into it.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I'll just download it. And then you become obsessed with it very quickly. Because the For You page, it customizes to whatever you like. And it shows you more videos of what you've already liked. So it really just becomes like you can scroll for hours and
Yeah.
hours. We're just wasting your life away.
It is. It's pretty addictive because it's shorter videos
Yeah.
and yeah.
The longest
Funniest.
they can go is 60 seconds long. So
All right, funniest TikTok video. Just
have no
throw you under the
idea.
bus like that. Okay, I don't know.
what's your favorite one, Destiny? You've watched a lot of TikToks.
My favorite are the ones, the people that are trying to look cool, men and women both, that are dancing, trying to look all sexy, and it's like, it's not working. Stop. Don't.
What about you, Bryn?
I don't know. I mean, I'll watch it, but I don't really like remember it too much. I just kind of watch it to watch it.
Okay.
There's this one of this dog that went into like a lake or something and drank too much water, and the noises he makes, he's like throwing up, but like the way that dogs do.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen.
I
It
have
made
seen
me
that.
laugh so
Yeah.
hard.
I do know that for 2019, we all need to learn to not get sudden PhDs in whatever the subject of the video is in comment sections. We need to learn to. It's okay. The dog wasn't dying. He's fine.
No, he
Throwing
drank
it-
too much
Oh,
water and was
yeah.
throwing
Gotcha.
up water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was just making awful noises, and it was so funny.
Yeah. But suddenly, all the new vets came out.
That happens a lot. Any animal video that's posted on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do this to your animal, dude. Just laugh and go on about your life.
All
I
right.
promise it's fine. That's my thing of 2019. Can we go into 2020 not being so harsh on the
Okay.
internet? I would like that. a
And
lot.
we also need to talk about our resolutions or hopes or whatever coming into it. You don't have to talk about it, Brandon. You don't have to.
I don't do those.
My resolution is just to make it.
To make
to
it
get through
through
another year.
2020?
2020 is going to be a lot.
Destiny, you got to help us here. We need a lofty goal, something.
What's yours, Destiny?
No, think about it. We'll get back
Blank.
with
Completely
you.
blank.
You got like 10, 15 minutes to think about it. So, the 2019 is when we started the Sunnyside podcast. Midsummer. So we're about a half a year's worth of episodes, give or take,
Yeah.
close to it. We had some really incredible guests this year. We had Darcy Lynn, the winner of America's Got Talent, which was huge, and she's still blowing up. She's been
Yeah.
out in Vegas and doing stuff with the ventriloquist girl. There was Maylin Jarman. We interviewed her right as she was taking the America's Got Talent, The Voice championship. She was on Team John Legend. She went on to sing the national anthem in Washington on July 4th. Gracie Shriver was on Team Kelly
Yes.
and then ended up doing very well. She came back for the finale of The Voice just like last week.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Lauren Fix, the lady that works on cars.
Yes.
Did you by the way? Did you check the air in your tires to make sure they're not?
We fixed all that.
We fixed it
honestly.
all. We
That
really
was
did,
a
Lauren.
beneficial
Yeah.
episode for us because we I mean, some of it's general knowledge, but just being reminded to do
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
helpful all in itself. And so thanks, Lauren.
Yeah. And then Dr. Elizabeth Chereau on kidney disease and Adrian Appel with Hearing Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we
What?
just did toys too.
What?
So best toys for Christmas.
Yes, no, he missed
Oh.
it. He totally missed the whole
We're talking
hearing
about
aid
guests.
joke. What?
What?
No, I know.
Hearing aid joke.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I get it now.
He's
You're
a little
tired.
slow sometimes.
Yeah, I'm always tired.
2019's been rough on Brandon.
Man, it's not been rough. I just work and
It's been rough.
it's hard to
Yeah.
to recoup after work sometimes, but we're okay.
It's
we'll
been
be
a
fine.
long year.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
It's been tough.
It's
I guess.
fine.
So let's see. Did you think of a resolution yet?
Yeah.
What's your resolution,
To
Destiny?
not be so harsh on myself.
To not. That's a good one.
to talk into the microphone.
I moved it for her.
Yeah, see, Destiny needs to go closer. Brandon needs to pull back a couple of inches.
No,
Golly. Yeah.
I don't do that.
I need. Here's the resolution. Give everybody headphones
Yeah, sure.
so you hear what you sound like.
I don't want to do that.
I'm
think.
just saying.
I don't like to know what I sound like.
Well,
It's not my
It'll
favorite.
you've thought anything yet,
For
Angel? Resolution besides surviving 2020.
what? I don't know.
That's a resolution.
2020 is going to be rough.
Why is that?
Well, I am graduating my bachelor's.
Right.
And right after that, we are getting married. So,
That's a good
There's
thing.
that.
though.
while
It'll be
also
rough.
applying for a master's degree. So,
Okay.
it's going to be a lot all at once.
We're gonna do it. It'll be fine. It'll be just
Are
fine.
we
We're going to do it. Are you
Are-
graduating?
Hmm.
From the
Yes.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yes. Finally.
Are we going to podcast the wedding?
You graduate next year, don't you?
I don't.
Destiny
2021.
and I can. We could sit back in the back row and we can comment during the wedding, and we
I
can.
think that could
podcast
be
this
Angel and
thing.
I's week off. You can edit the video and everything. It's all you.
It's going to be a short show. I'll just tell you that much right there. Oh, I'll find a guest host. My sister filled in. Amanda filled in one time for us, and it's been 2019's been a good year. I know it's been tough, but it's actually with Sunny Side Up podcast, it's been very successful, and we're literally just getting started on this thing.
Yeah.
Barely touching the surface.
I know it.
Yet, so
I know it.
So the end of 2019, and tell me if you know where this is from, is neither the beginning or the end, but it's the end of the beginning.
Okay.
You know who said that?
No, but it makes sense.
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh. That's
Deep thought.
insightful.
I just quoted a fictional character. How much validity do I
Fine.
have?
Fine.
Come on. Sorry.
It's okay.
All right.
We're all giggly goofy.
So as 2020 comes, what do you guys want to see out of technology, social media? What's something that hasn't happened yet that you want to see happen?
I don't know.
I guarantee you what I want to see. I've been around for a while. It's 2020. I want my freaking flying car. They told me when I was a kid we'd have flying cars by 2020. It's in the books. Look it up.
they're already here. You just can't access them.
I don't mean a drone. I'm talking about a flying car I can get into
No,
and
there
go to
is
They're
work.
in the
flying
works.
cars. They're in the works.
They're also very, very, very expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, in the flying car, the Jetsons had the flying cars.
I'm making a
right?
prediction that the flying cars thing that Elon Musk is going to be the first.
Oh, I know he
It's
will.
going to be a
Isn't
Tesla
that why
flying
he
car.
sent a car into space?
Yeah, to see how it would react.
To see how it would do in space.
And it did
I
fine.
don't know.
It did fine. I mean, it got hit by debris, but it did
The
fine.
car itself did fine. Like, it made it into
Yeah,
space.
nothing
Right.
combusted
Oh, you're saying
or anything.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Now,
He straight up
there's
sent a
probably,
Tesla in space.
because it's electric. You don't have
Right.
to worry about these things
gas and
while it's in
everything.
space. You don't have to worry about liquids
Oh, I see what
freezing,
you're
nothing
saying.
like that.
That it would
And
operate in
now-
space.
Now,
What-
I think your worry would probably be that, like, you have bearings and stuff that would freeze up.
Yeah.
You'd have to fix that, but
How are you going to get back?
You
it's
don't.
another issue. You
You
don't.
Yeah.
live in space.
I mean, you
fine.
could, but the whole reentry would
fine.
be a little tough.
Yeah.
Be a little rough
You
and
hit the
tumbly.
atmosphere and it's going to get real
Yeah.
quick.
So I don't know.
How many times are you going to say real?
Yes.
It's not like Elon Musk hasn't thought about all this stuff already.
Oh, I promise you
but-
he has. But I think that, with the whole flying cars, that's more realistic than obviously sending a car to space, being able to get back and forth in a car.
Right.
But I think the whole flying car thing is very, well, it's a lot closer than it was obviously last year, if you
Yeah.
think about it that way. But I think that,
We're still perfecting
Yeah.
self-driving cars.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go really deep with it. Let's get
Okay.
really philosophical. The most amazing thing. This is a question for all four of us. The most amazing thing ever that's been invented, that's come along in your lifetime, that you were like, when I was a kid, I never would have dreamt this would be possible ever.
honestly, just going to say the video game thing, because that has progressed so ridiculously well in 20 years that it's just like it blew my mind. That they had some sort of study on it, and I don't have any source or anything, but they showed that video games is actually probably the most progressive genre or thing that has ever happened. Because cars, it took them years. It took them. I'm talking. When the first car was out, like what, 1918?
18.
Okay,
the
right.
late
they
1800s.
They weren't really sufficient or very like accessible or anything like that
until
I mean, honestly, just the early
Well, no.
2000s. I feel like they've gotten even better, or even the 1960s, 70s when you were having
the Model T was the
But here-
very
okay,
first
look.
accessible to the general public
Right.
at a low price. That's where
Right.
mass production came from.
So,
but I know where you're going
but it
with
took
it.
them 50, 60 years before they could really have a finished product that would really, you know what I'm saying? The progression of it was a lot slower. Right?
Got closer to 100 years before it really
Right.
evolved into a.
Video games, I mean, honestly, you look
Yeah.
back in 1980
I see what
something,
you're saying.
and
yeah.
then you flash forward 10 years and how much it changed in 10.
Yeah.
You flash forward 20, how much it changed then, and now we're here in 2020, and looking at the graphics, the things like that, the things that video games can do and help, it's huge.
I was
in
around
such a short amount of time, really.
I was around for the beginning of Dragon's Lair. I'm sure you've read about that one. It was a regular video game that used the very first video discs to change the outcome of a scenario, and it would change depending on what you did.
That's the point here.
Yeah.
So you, in your lifetime, you didn't get to see the invention of cars. You have got to see the invention of video games. You got to see the very first video game, really.
You're going to make me feel really old.
No.
That's
But this
cool
is a point.
No, it's
this is
fine.
the point.
You've been able to see the progression.
But you're not that old.
Major
You aren't
thing.
in your 90s. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Because even 25, 30 years from now, think of it, and you'll still be around. This is what I'm saying. Like, cars.
Me and Brandon were alive before the smartphone was around.
Yeah, I know.
And
yeah.
how
She
much
wasn't.
that has
Yeah.
progressed. Like,
Yeah.
technology itself, I can't imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years
Yeah.
alone.
I agree.
That's one of the most
Huge.
amazing things to me is the
Yeah.
evolution of the smartphone and how insane it is. You have so much information in this one little thing that you carry with you absolutely everywhere.
But it makes, like, at least to me, it makes so much sense in the way everything works. The only thing I don't understand is the coding stuff, the stuff that's in the background that's running to make it do what it's doing.
Always running.
That is insane.
Well, it's kind of like
to
our
me.
brains.
Right.
Because our brains always running,
That
telling
makes
us to breathe.
zero sense to me, and I don't think it really makes sense to some of the game developers either, because they just have an engine they're doing stuff on, or the phone developer that has just literally an engine that they're building stuff on, right? And even the hardware at this point is all they have machines that make the hardware and they make it do what they want it to do, but somewhere it's got a brain that it's got to tell it. So the person that's developing that brain, massive genius. That is to me incredible, because it's gone from here's the lines that go up and down, and it was a
the
sequence
Pong
of
game.
zeros and ones,
It was the
right?
Pong.
And then that would tell it what to do. And now we're to think of that times a trillion of those going on at once and just running an engine.
Yep.
It's insane to me. So whereas the concept of anything else you really think of that isn't digital has really stayed the same over the years. Cars, all that stuff. But now we're integrating technology into the cars.
Yeah.
And so
Because our cars are becoming better. It's
see what I'm
because
saying?
they've put technology into them.
I do. I agree.
yeah.
The evolution of
So-
technology has been insane.
So,
Yeah.
Destiny, does all this technology scare you at all? You're the youngest one in the room.
Yes, because robots could take over the world.
So you're afraid of robots taking
See,
over the world.
yes.
See, I
Won't
want
happen.
one person we forgot to mention. Luke was one of our guests
Yes.
in here, and I asked Brandon and Luke about that. Luke had a very different. He was like, "No, it's going to be the robots are going. If the robots get to that point, they'll be here to help us, not to
I
destroy
think
us."
so too, because we have
Never know.
programmed in that way.
I'm not disagreeing either way. I'm
Have you
just
seen
saying.
iRobot?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well,
You know,
Look,
I
is it-
always,
look.
after I ask our Google Home a question, I always make sure to tell it thank you. So it knows that I am for them. I appreciate them. So if robots ever do become a major thing, they know that I was thankful.
Oh, they've been keeping
They're
track.
storing that information.
So honestly, here's the thing, and I'm a big nerd about this stuff. Like, it's not a secret. So here's the thing with computers and things like that. The AI that's being developed, and it's a smart way to do it because it wouldn't work if it was developed the other way. But the way it is developed is that it's not really self-learning. It doesn't do it on its own. You have to interact with it to make it
But
learn,
they've
right?
created self-learning.
Right, they've created self-learning, and where has it always led to? Failure. And if they create self-learning stuff, it just won't work because it's there to serve you. So if it's there to serve you and it's there to do what you need it to do, if it's self-learning, it's eventually just going to go, I'm going to do my own thing, right? But if you don't give it a physical anything, it can't have arms, legs, stuff like that. Even still, you're still the controller of that computer. You're not, at any point, you can just,
Yeah.
yeah, so you can just shut it off. And to me, that's where I am with that. I don't ever fear that. And I think that people that do fear it, and this isn't me trying to say,
He's calling you out, Destiny.
No.
I think he's calling out you.
I think that
he is.
somebody that fears it should, at some point, take the time to learn how the computer works in its own brain and how to program something because it'll start to make more sense. That's just like me saying, well, I know how to put an engine in a car, or I know how to build an engine. I don't. And so when I worry about something, then a mechanic looks at you and says, well, no, it's not going to do that
Yeah.
because this, and this. You trust that because they're the mechanic, in the same way with a computer technician or things like that.
I honestly,
developer.
I'll be honest. I think the destruction of the human race, or not that's really dark. I mean, but the demise of the human race is going to come from humans. I don't think it comes from robots.
Sure,
Yosemite
no.
blowing up.
Or something.
Because that's supposed to happen. and it has
Something.
not.
Something. We create a superbug that destroys 98% of the planet. Something like
Another
that.
plague.
Yeah,
I
a plague.
don't think
I
that
think it's
computers are our
biological.
end. In fact, I think computers. I mean, think about
And
the
so-
health side of it.
Right. No,
How
so
much
I know.
they've
I
helped,
think
you
so.
know?
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's
know.
insane. Whenever Destiny was in the
Yeah.
hospital, how much
Mhm.
technology and like insane
Yeah.
stuff they had.
Yeah.
Like one of the things, whenever she had her brain surgery, they put a like little tube thing directly into her vein, so they could monitor her blood pressure more directly on a machine. And I'd never
know.
seen that before.
Yeah.
It's insane how much technology has really
It
helped.
hurts really bad to get taken out.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
put it in while you're under, but they take it out when you're fully
Mhm.
awake.
Wow.
But it just, and that's
Wow.
that's why I agree with the whole computer situation of it progressing us because of specifically the health stuff and
Yeah.
how beneficial it's been. And I just don't.
At
You're controller of your own.
yeah.
Well, even like the going to the dentist, they have like a little bite thing that you can do that'll scan you for
Sure.
oral cancer,
Yeah.
Right.
which is even earlier on they didn't have that. They didn't screen you for oral cancer, and now they just have like a little machine that they just scan you and see if you're good.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think that technology has really come to benefit us. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel
So-
like the ones that don't like. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep going with it.
I'm never going to shut him off.
No,
Destiny.
No.
I
You're not.
apologize,
You're not.
Once you get
Angel.
him on
Yeah.
something, he's
No.
on a soapbox right now.
I don't. The last thing I do have to say about it though, the
Won't be the
being
last.
No.
well, like here's the thing.
Go ahead.
With it, I don't want to bring generations into it, but maybe an older generation thought this isn't going to work or it's going to be a bad thing. Think about how they felt when the car was being invented. I'll
Can-
go back to that.
Can I just
It's just
interject?
not gonna work.
Can I just interject a thought at that
Sure.
point?
Yeah.
What you just said, I can remember. You're talking about being old enough to remember when things didn't work, and I remember talking to my grandpa before the moon missions happened. Apollo was going on. They were I don't remember when there wasn't an Apollo. I'm not that old.
Yeah.
But I remember telling my grandpa, I said, can you believe that we're actually maybe going to get to the moon? And he goes, I can remember when you didn't really, I mean, they flew, but they didn't really fly that much, that even flying in the 20th century took place, learning how to have an aircraft that was sustainable with a lot of people on it, like a jumbo jet. But for me, it really is the technology curve, the bell curve of the technology.
Yeah.
The two things that are fascinating to me is the telephone and how the telephone, even though it began as a wall phone and really a telegraph before the telephone, when the telephone was invented and really mass marketed, it actually, one of its biggest uses was hunting down criminals.
Yeah.
Before the telephone, a criminal could rob a bank in one town, ride their horse or drive their Model T to the next town and rob the next one and just go on down the road, because as long as they kept up ahead of the posse, they never got caught.
Right.
And some of the very bigger names in criminal history in the first half of the 20th century were caught because of telephone lines where people were going, I just saw them ride by my house, and they would call ahead, and that's how they captured him. Well, you take that, it was a thing called a party line.
Yeah.
Where you'd take a neighborhood like a cul-de-sac, and everybody in the cul-de-sac would have the same phone line, like literally the same phone line, but each household's phone rang differently. So if your household rang with 3 rings, it meant that, okay, it's time for the Klepper household to answer the phone. But if it rang 2 times or 4 times, it was somebody else in the neighborhood. But everybody could hear everything on the phone line. So if the phone, it was the weirdest thing. Your phone would ring, you'd pick it up, and then you hear like 3 or 4 other people pick up the line, wondering what I was going to talk about. Happened every single time.
Yeah.
And then somebody would inevitably leave the phone off the hook, like a little kid. And as long as the phone was off the hook, it wouldn't reset itself. No one in the neighborhood could use the phone. So you'd sit there and you'd listen and you'd figure out whose phone it was on. And you'd go to their house, knock on the door, go, could you please hang up your freaking phone?
Yeah.
That in itself, and then when I went to college, I took Computer Programming 101 on a TRS-80.
Yeah.
Everybody laughs about that. That was the cassette tape deck hard drive
Right.
plugged into a very, very simple computer.
Yeah.
And all we did as a project was teach it to count from 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And as I dropped the class and looked the professor square in the eye, I said, there is no way these are ever going to catch on. This is the biggest waste of my time ever.
Boy, were you wrong.
I was so wrong,
But see,
and I
that's
missed
my
a
whole
chance.
thing. I think history at
And-
first, whenever we saw that stuff coming, I think the first initial reaction was like that because
Yeah.
of the things we've seen.
Well, now
Just-
programming is huge. They
Yeah.
teach that in
Yeah.
middle schools
Right.
now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Preschoolers, I saw a program, T1 actually,
They
preschoolers
teach it in
we're
elementary.
learning the coding that you use on the cars to keep them from running into each other.
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
really cool.
It's
I
neat.
mean, it's
it's so simple.
It's something
it's
that
very simple.
is really prevalent now. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and the whole round circle of this thing here, coming full circle, is that like you use the example of planes and how long it took them to finally perfect
Right.
that plane, right, for it to
Yep.
really work.
Yep.
And now you look at technology. You remember when the first phone came out, and now look where
Well,
it's at
the
now.
first bag phone.
Right.
The big bag phone.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like I think a lot of people have this negative connotation with technology that it's decreasing us or whatever. But honestly, look at the 21st century coming from the 20th into the 21st of how fast it's progressed.
It scared me at first. And I'll tell you
Sure.
why it scared me, because of the
It's
information. Well, it was the information that was
Yeah.
provided to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be honest, I was 18 years old in high school when I wrote my first research paper.
Yeah.
Now follow along and see if you guys haven't done this, and probably did this when you were in 5th grade. The paper had to be, I want to say, 10 pages long. It had to have an introduction, and it had to have a wrap-up, and it had to have so many paragraphs, so many pages.
Yeah.
And it was the year-long project.
Right.
Okay, and all it was you were supposed to ask a question and see if you could find an answer. All right. In 1980, when I was a senior in high school, or whenever it was a long time ago. It required me to drive 30 miles to a university to check out the books,
Yeah.
to get the articles I was looking for. I would have to make copies of each page. It cost me like $15 or $20 to make the copies of the papers I needed, bring it back to my house, write the paper, then type the paper flawlessly. I actually
Yeah.
hired your Aunt Carol to do that. And I ended up with a 10-page dissertation on answering a question that I had asked at the beginning of the class, and it took all semester
Yeah.
to do what you guys did in the 6th grade in about a day and a half,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Well,
you
even
got
when
all the
I was
research
in
right
middle
there.
school, they still made us do
I know.
books because it wasn't like it was still
But-
like technology was prevalent, but they're like you still need to know how to use
Right.
the books.
You're right, because I remember that I still feel like whenever, especially when I was in middle school, we're a few years apart from it, but I feel like when I was in middle school, especially, they still weren't sure about it.
Yeah, that's
But
how
I
it was
guess-
when I was
So-
in middle school.
Or
about you,
it wasn't that
Destiny?
they weren't sure,
You're younger than us.
but like
When was the
Destiny,
first
for
time you wrote a
example-
paper? Any kind of paper at all? You remember
Did you
when
use
you...
completely technology?
No,
Yeah.
we still had to use like the dictionary.
Okay.
Like
All
they
right.
Okay,
Good.
that's
good.
forced
The
us to
dictionary.
use the
Yeah, but-
dictionary. They
but-
wouldn't let us look it up.
But what did your school assign you? Like what things? It's more than a textbook. You have a laptop now, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my thing.
But-
like, I feel
Right.
like back
They have
it-
school issued laptops.
But the
right?
only paper, my point is, the only paper I ever wrote from kindergarten to graduating high school was one.
Well,
And it was
we
the entire...
cranked out
it-
papers.
Yeah.
But it was the entire senior year.
But it's crazy. In 10 years
because
time,
of the
basically,
technology curve.
say Destiny are 10
Right.
years apart of how crazy it is. Because
Yeah.
when I was in high school even, I mean, the technology was really starting to kind of boom, right?
Yeah.
And so we
Yeah.
were using
Well-
computers.
Well, that's
And
when I
every-
was in
Yeah.
middle school when they started putting in smart boards, like the first smart boards. They started putting
That's
those
when I
in.
knew the smart boards. Whenever they
Yeah.
started using the smart boards, I
Yeah.
knew then it's really starting to take off, and it
Yeah.
did. It just soared from there. But the
Have
thing
you
is,
seen the new smart boards?
yeah, you can't
They're
wrap your head around it
insane.
because
the projectors are insane.
In 5 years, you're going to listen to this podcast and
Yeah.
watch this video, and you're going to go, they were so
this one will be easy to
old.
find. This one will be easy to find. It's the first of the 2020 year.
Yeah, well,
and,
yeah.
and that's what's cool about it. And
Yeah.
I think that we can come back to this
I
as
am-
a podcast in next year.
I am amazed. This is the biggest thing that I'm amazed by. I'm amazed that the robots didn't take over yet. Quite seriously, Destiny. I am amazed that we made it to the year 2020 as a human race.
Why?
Isn't there a movie
because-
about the world ending in 2020?
Well,
there's a
think
million
about
of those,
think about the Space Odyssey, the old Stanley Kubrick Space Odyssey. That already happened. The final story of that was 2001.
Yeah.
It is insane to think that
And
those like futuristic books and movies,
but
The
they've
time
already
is.
happened.
I mean, I'm never going to see the year of the Jetsons, and I won't see the Star Trek
Neither will
timeline.
we. I don't think it's going to go that
But
fast. But
I'm saying the actual real year that was written into Back to the Future came and went.
yeah.
All of that
That's insane to
storyline's
think
done,
about.
It's incredible.
I can't believe that I've made it this far. And gosh, I wish I had taken better care of myself.
We're finishing another decade.
But we're sitting here talking about it on a platform that allows us to broadcast in high def
Look.
to the entire world, Brandon. That's
Right.
the thing that really
Right.
amazes
But
me.
everybody that's watching this right now, listening, got to remember. Here's what you have to remember.
Yeah.
Numbers, decades, it is all a human concept. Remember that.
Oh man, now you went.
time is just
Remember
a
that.
construct.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, but it really is.
But in the real, I know, but
because
but
the books,
point is,
sure, I'm not trying to take anything away from that. It's very cool.
It's
It is.
amazing.
But there's a bigger picture out there. So just remember that. Don't get too caught up. If there's one thing I want to tell you for the first episode of the year is don't get too caught up in the numbers. Don't
Yeah.
do it. Because
Especially
it's not
with
worth it.
like comparing
Oh,
yourself to
it's
those
about-
around you type of thing.
No,
Right.
look,
Some
it's-
people finish
yeah.
school in 4, some people take 10. It
Look,
doesn't matter.
Look, in the year 2021, it's going to be the same. In the year 2022, we're going to say the same thing because it's numbers. We've created this stuff. Humans have created it. And I'm not trying to
So-
do a conspiracy, like whatever. But I'm just saying that it really is.
I just
Life
saying that
is
was
life. It's going
I
to
was just
continue.
trying to say it was kind of cool. I don't care what year it is.
I think it's great. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm just
I know.
saying-
I'm just telling you in general. It's for the
I get
person
to-
that's
Destiny's decade
watching.
is over.
I get to
Right.
watch. That's true.
She was born in 03, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, her
I-
decade's
But
over.
for the person that's watching, listening, just don't get caught up on too much on the
In
numbers.
1980, when I first started college in 1980 and 1981, there were 3 channels on the TV.
Yeah.
All right, the 3 major
Again,
networks
another example.
that I mechanically had to get up and change. My voice is starting to get hoarse on me.
Yeah.
that I mechanically had to get up and change the channel. I remember my dad and I inventing a stick that you
Yeah.
could sit on the couch and reach over with the stick and change it mechanically, and there were mechanical changing devices. That
Yeah.
led to cable TV, which led to cable antenna TV, which
How
led to the
quickly it
digital
happened.
age. Between 1982, 83, and now is when the curve really began to. You're talking about the technology that you've witnessed.
It's
it really,
insane.
the technology I've witnessed has been nuts.
Yeah, that's
The
what
introduction
I'm
of
got to see it all.
MTV, the Weather Channel,
Right.
ESPN, it all came along while
Now
I
it's
was
just
doing
all on your
broadcasting
phone.
schools.
You don't need a TV.
And that's my point. And now, right now, I can go to my smartphone. I can pick whatever channel I want, whatever network I want. I can binge watch on a platform, or I can select a network that still provides live programming. And someday, I think that Sunny Side Up will be providing live programming. I
Yeah.
could see us doing a live channel,
Yeah.
and fairly soon, maybe even
Sure.
2020.
I do live streaming right now.
The
And so
technology
it's
is right there.
It's
It's amazing
easy.
to me. So we are
Yeah.
running really long.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us for the very first episode of 2020 here on
yes.
Sunny Side Up. You can find us everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if you'd like to email, if you're old-fashioned and like to email, I still like to email. Okay, I do.
See,
That's
there you
where
go
I do
again.
all my business stuff.
Old-fashioned email.
I do all my business stuff through
when
email.
I was
okay?
a kid.
So,
Yeah.
email us, sunnysideuppodcast at storiesandscoopsmedia.com.
Okay.
It'll be down in the link below if you're on YouTube. If not, just rewind it about 10 seconds so you can hear it again.
Yeah.
You can find our logo right here, Sunny
That's
Side Up,
it.
right back there.
And-
if you're looking at the YouTube, you can find us on Facebook. Just search Sunny Side Up. Find the Sunny logo with Sunny Side Up on it.
Yeah.
And that's us.
All right.
Period. Good to go.
Good. Period. All right.
Period. The
Destiny.
end of the year.
Destiny, do
started
me a
new.
favor next show. Say what, Alan?
What, Alan?
Stop being so rowdy during the program.
See you guys next
See you
episode.
later. Have a
Bye.
blessed week.
Bye.